Coming up on Oakdale Update, we're going to meet the store director of the new Hy-Vee grocery store. We'll find out about an award the City of Oakdale recently won, and we'll give you a list of some upcoming events. Stay tuned. Oakdale Update is straight ahead. Hello and welcome to Oakdale Update. I'm your host, Frank Orsello. This is the City of Oakdale's news and information program about your community. The Hy-Vee grocery store is an exciting project that is set to open soon on the Tartan Crossing site. With me now is Dan Wellinghoff, who is the store director at the Oakdale Hy-Vee. Dan, thanks for joining us on Oakdale Update.
Glad to be here.
Okay, let's just start out with, tell me a little bit about yourself, your educational background and that sort of thing.
I've been with Hy-Vee for almost 27, 28 years. I started while I was going to college, and I never left the company.
So you've been with them for, what'd you say, 28 years?
Going on 28 years.
Going on 28 years. Okay, now tell me about Hy-Vee. Now, let's start with the name. How'd they ever come up with the Hy-Vee name?
Two gentlemen started a company, Charles Hyde and David Friedenberg, and shortly after they started the company, they had a contest amongst the employees to name it, and it's a contraction of their names, Hyde and Friedenberg,
okay.
Hy-Vee.
All right. Where is the first store?
Beaconsfield, Iowa. It was back in 1930.
Where is it? What?
Beaconsfield, Iowa.
Beaconsfield. Okay. Now, how did they? With the first store, did they buy a former grocery store and then turn it into a Hy-Vee, or did they start it from scratch, like build a building?
It was a partnership between those two gentlemen, and they started it from scratch.
What was their background in the grocery business?
I'm not sure exactly.
Did they? They must have been in the business, though, I suppose, because it's pretty hard to just start a grocery store.
Yeah, I think it was just a dream of theirs, a family-owned business.
Okay. Are they still alive, these two?
No, 1930.
Both? Oh, way back that long ago, huh? Mm-hmm. I'll be darned. So, how many stores do you have?
We have about 235 stores in the upper Midwest. We operate in 8 states.
8 states. Name the states.
We are in Kansas and Missouri, Iowa, Nebraska, Illinois, Wisconsin, South Dakota, and the great state of Minnesota.
Okay. How many do you have in Minnesota now?
I believe we have about 17 in southern Minnesota, and the Oakdale location will be one of 2 opening in the Twin Cities. The other location will be over in New Hope.
New Hope, okay. Now, how many employees do you have?
We have about 76,000 employees in the company, and our store will open with about 680 employees.
This store here?
Mm-hmm. Yes, Oakdale will have roughly 680 employees.
Oh. Now, I understand your stores are employee-owned. Explain that to me. How does that work?
Employee-owned means the employees own the company. You know, they own it through their 401ks, and the 401k is the largest stockholder of Hy-Vee. So all the employees have ownership through their 401k.
Okay. Now, okay, you say that the employees own the store and all that. Now, the buying, and do you have employees that buy the product and, you know, like the produce and that kind of thing, you know, for the different departments, the dry goods and the produce and that kind of thing? Do you have a cadre of people doing this?
I have a produce manager that works for me, to your example, and he would purchase the produce for our store. You know, he purchases it from our corporate office, but he has the ability to buy whatever he thinks will sell best for our Oakdale customers.
Okay. Do they have a distributing? Does your place have? Does Hy-Vee have distributorships?
Yes.
Okay. Explain that to me.
Hy-Vee, we have our Sheraton warehouse, and so we buy our groceries out of Sheraton, Iowa, and it's a subsidiary of Hy-Vee. You know, we have PDI, where we get our meats and where our meats and seafoods, and that is a subsidiary of Hy-Vee.
It is.
You know, we have our own construction company. We're pretty unique in that way. We're pretty particular about how we like things done. It's not that often that we'll build a Hy-Vee in an existing building. We'll usually buy a property and then we'll want to construct our own building. So we have a company called Hy-Vee White's Construction that builds our own buildings because we're so specific about how we want the store to look.
So then this one in Oakdale, that's what you did there, right? This construction company?
Hy-Vee Construction is building it.
I'll be darned. How many, are they continually busy? I mean, is there enough to keep them going?
We're opening new stores all the time. For example, here in the Twin Cities, like I said earlier, we're going to open 2 stores this year, both in September. And then we have 2 other projects that have started, Lakeville and Brooklyn Park. And then we'll open 2 additional stores by October of next year. So by the end of next year, we will have 6 stores in the Twin Cities, and we will open probably 4+ stores every year after that. Hy-Vee's coming to the Twin Cities.
Boy, I'll say
in a big way.
Getting back to this, I forgot to ask you, are you married and kids and
I'm married with 3 children.
3 children. Where are they now? Are they in?
They're growing and gone.
Oh, they are? Oh, my goodness. You don't look old enough to have grown kids.
I know. I hear that sometimes.
Yeah, well, that's good. All right, now this employee-owned, how does that concept work in terms of, are they happy employees? I would think, they got a horse in the race, so I would assume that would they work harder? Is that correct?
Well, it's not so much that they work harder. They work very hard, but they're proud of their company. When you own something, I think when you have ownership in something, you try harder, you do better, you want to succeed. You have, like you said, a horse in the race. You have skin in the game. I've been an employee owner for almost 28 years, and I look back over my career with Hy-Vee, and I wouldn't change anything. I've thoroughly enjoyed my time with Hy-Vee, and a lot of folks that work with Hy-Vee feel the same. There's a lot of people like myself that started bagging groceries and just never left.
That's good. All right, let's talk about the Oakdale store. First of all, how big is that store?
It'll be roughly 90,000 square feet. We have stores in smaller towns that are conventional size stores, and then we have 90,000 plus stores that we build in metropolitan communities.
Okay. Now, what all is going to be in the store? I mean, you got a lot of stuff going in there. So
we got all kinds of fun stuff going in there. We'll have your normal produce. We'll have meat. We'll have grocery. We'll have an attached wine and spirit store. Something that we've been doing for a while now is we've been putting restaurants in our stores. So we'll have a full restaurant in there with a bar so you can get a glass of beer or a glass of wine with your meal. We'll have the big TVs.
A liquor license? Will you have a liquor license?
We'll have a liquor license. We'll have large TVs where you can watch the game. It'll be an atmosphere. It'll be a very family atmosphere where I could go with 3 or 4 of my friends and watch the game, and right down the row could be a mom, a dad, and their 3 kids coexisting in the same atmosphere. It's all about family and fun.
How big is that restaurant?
I believe our seating occupancy will be about 120.
Okay. So it's a grill. I mean, I think it's called a grill, isn't it?
It's called the Hy-Vee Market Grill.
Market Grill. Okay. So will you have what kind of hours will the restaurant have?
The restaurant will be open till 11 p.m.
Okay. So what? Breakfast.
Breakfast, lunch, dinner.
Okay. Well, that's a great concept. Go ahead.
Well, in the restaurant, you'll be able to get anything from fries and a cheeseburger all the way up to steaks and seafood. The steaks and seafood that we'll serve are the same great steaks that you'll find back in our meat department. So it'll have kind of a synergy there.
Wow, how great is that?
We're going to have a sushi shop in our store, and you can get sushi for an appetizer. We're going to have a charcuterie shop in the store, so you'll be able to get international cheese and like prosciutto ham as an appetizer, or you can turn around and buy it in the store if you like it.
I'll be there.
So create some synergies there. In Hy-Vee, we operate on 3 platforms, and one of them is culinary expertise. We like to hire foodies. We like people that love food, like to cook food, want to be around food in our stores.
So you have a chef, if you will, in the restaurant there? Or?
We'll have 5 chefs.
5 chefs.
We'll open with 3 chefs in what we call our kitchen department, and they'll do things like a chef's creation case where a customer could come and buy something cold and take it home and heat it up and eat it. We will have a executive chef in our restaurant. We'll have a chef back in our meat department teaching people how to cook. So you want to know the greatest thing about how to barbecue. We'll have a chef back in the meat department telling you how to prepare it. We'll have a retail chef in the store, and his or her responsibility will be to teach like wine classes, to teach cooking classes with our dietitians.
So do you say that if I was going to have a party at my house, I could get one of your chefs to come along? And
Absolutely. That's another service that we offer. One of our chefs would love to come to your house or anyone's house and prepare dinner for them at a party.
No kidding. Well, that
Yep.
is. So, I've talked to people that have been to Hy-Vees in others in the down south especially, and they said that it's such an experience, and it sounds like you're really encouraging that, huh?
Right.
Okay. Now you also have a gas station.
We'll have a C-store.
C-store,
We'll have a C-store and a drive-through Starbucks out there.
coffee shop.
Coffee shop, we'll have a kiosk inside, a Starbucks kiosk inside. Our Starbucks outside is unique. It's the first time Starbucks has ever let anyone have a drive-through that wasn't a non-licensed Starbucks, meaning that the Starbucks is ours, it's Hy-Vee's, and they're going to let us have a drive-through.
So you use their name more or less?
Yep, we use their name.
And their coffee, I suppose.
Yeah, absolutely, their products. But it's the first drive-through ever. It's a big deal to Starbucks to allow us to do something like this.
So is the grocery store going to have you said a sushi bar and all that?
Well,
so would I be able to go in there and get food and take it home with me?
Absolutely.
A prepared meal and everything, take it home with me?
Absolutely. You can dine in a restaurant. You can take it to go. We have all the offerings.
Okay.
You know, I mentioned that we operate on 3 platforms. One of them is health and wellness. So we'll have 2 dietitians in our store. We'll have a full pharmacy staffed with pharmacists. We'll have a wellness expert, and we'll have folks there to help you with any health need you have.
You know, all these ideas, it's certainly not your normal grocery store.
Right.
How did they come about? As time went on and you felt the need for it, or how did they come about?
As a company, we've always been blessed to have great leaders, and our leaders have always been able to, look into the future, and they have great vision. So health and wellness, we've been studying health and wellness and lifestyles for a long time. So this didn't just happen by chance. It's something that we study and we watch very closely, and we move forward with it.
That sounds great. Now, how many, you said how many people, 600 and some you're going to have at this store?
We'll have roughly 680 to open up.
Okay. What are the hours of the store?
The store is open 24 hours a day, 7 days a week.
It is.
Yep. We'll be open all the time.
Okay. And the liquor store, that's regular liquor hours? Whatever.
Regular liquor hours. I believe we're closed on Sundays. I think that's Minnesota law.
Minnesota law,
And
yes.
we'll be open from 8 to 10.
These people, you were talking about these far-sighted people. Were they people like yourself that worked their way up in the grocery business, or some of them were outsiders that came in to?
They came from within. Randy Edeker is our chairman of the board, CEO and president right now. He started with Hy-Vee, Sack and Groceries, I believe. The person before him, Ron Pearson, started just working in a store.
Do you take people from other grocery stores, other chains that they come to work for you?
From time to time,
They
we do.
apply,
We'll have people from other chains from time to time. There's a lot of good people out there in Oakdale that we've hired that are not with Hy-Vee, that were local, and we're looking forward to opening with everybody.
Oh, that sounds great. I mentioned you'd be off camera here. 60 years ago, I was a carry-out boy at a local grocery store, and I loved the business. It was hustling. It was going all the time. You're working with clients. It was good. It was a good business. So, how are you doing on hiring people? Are you getting enough to fill your roles?
Right now, we're about halfway there in our hiring process. We got our full-time people hired, and now we're looking to fill our part-time staff. We've got about half of those filled, and we still got a couple weeks left, so we'll be there.
You'll be there, okay. And how was I know, gosh, it's been almost a year that you've been working with Oakdale here to get things going and start building and all that. How has your experience been with working with the city?
I've been up here since late May. I know as a company we've been working with Oakdale for quite a while, and the vibe that I've gotten from the Oakdale city is they're as happy to have us as we're as happy to be here. So it's been nothing but good things with Oakdale.
That's good.
They've been very supportive. They've welcomed me very nicely, and I can't wait to get open and be part of the community. That's another thing that Hy-Vee's really big in, is the community. And I think it's really cool when the guy that coaches the kids' Little League team is the same guy working back in our meat department. That's the kind of people we want working for us.
So, did you bring up a lot of people from out of state or some of the other stores?
Some, there are folks that are applying that want to come and live in the Twin Cities for a variety of reasons, whether they have family here or they just think this would be a great place to kick off their career. So yes, we brought in people from Hy-Vee to come work at our stores, but at the same time, we're going to have a great mix of current Hy-Vee employees and local folks from the Oakdale community working in our store, and it's going to be an absolutely fabulous operation.
Good deal. So is your wife, did she move up here now, or you got a house up here? Or?
We got a home up here, and she's up here with us, and she loves it.
Is she employee too, or no?
No, she's not an employee.
Okay.
She's on the payroll, but she's not an employee.
Okay, all right. All right. Well, we're coming close to the end here. It's really sounding good. I'm looking forward to it. And you're going to have a grand opening, I assume, correct?
Yes, we'll have a grand opening. We haven't let the exact date we're going to open up yet. It'll be mid to late September when we're planning on opening. And just like how we do things, we like to make a big deal about it, so the date's not out there. But it'll be an event when we open.
Good. I'm looking forward to it, Dan, and I want to thank you for joining us on Oakdale Update.
Frank, thank you.
Appreciate it, and good luck to you on your new store. I'm going to be up there as much as I can.
Perfect. I'll buy you lunch.
All right, sounds good. Thank you.
Thank you.
It's time for a short break, but first here are some code reminders. Our first one is about backyard fires. They must be contained in a fire ring, and the ring located at least 25 feet from any structure. The flame should be no larger than 3 feet wide and 2 feet high, and a water source needs to be in close proximity. Please burn only clean, dry wood. If you need to hire a tree service, please make sure they are licensed by the city. And remember to keep grass clippings, yard waste, and animal droppings out of the ponding areas, streets, and storm sewers. Stay tuned. We'll be right back with more of Oakdale Update in just a minute.
While you're getting out and enjoying a little rest and relaxation this summer, a burglar may be getting into your home. Hello, I'm Carrie Crotty.
And I'm Lon Bakey. Don't let criminals ruin your summertime memories. On this August edition of Your Police Report, we'll talk with a Maplewood police officer about how you can safeguard your home while you're away.
An annual charity event is on target for another big show of support. We'll tell you how you can get involved, plus we'll tell you how the Maplewood Police Department is taking part in a countywide effort to end opiate abuse.
Welcome back to Oakdale Update. The city recently accepted a design award from the American Society of Landscape Architects for the pond at Tartan Crossing. City planner Emily Shively is here to tell us more about the award and the pond. Emily, thanks for joining us on Oakdale Update.
Thanks, happy to be here.
Okay, now tell me, how long have you been with Oakdale?
Just over a year. I started in July last year.
Okay, and what exactly is your job?
So I'm the city planner, and so I administer the zoning ordinance and any kind of development, redevelopment, projects that come in. If someone wants to build a new garage, wants to understand setbacks, that kind of thing, they come to me.
Are you involved with the Planning Commission too then? You must be
Yes.
the
Yep.
liaison with the city?
Yep.
Planning Commission, I'll be darned. Okay, so let's talk about this pond. Now, apparently it's not just a holding pond, is that correct?
Right.
Okay, what is the object of it? What's the point?
Sure. So this is, the pond is located at the Tartan Crossing redevelopment site. So this is where the old Oakdale Mall used to be. And that site used to be covered with the mall and parking lots. So the idea when the council was interested in redeveloping the site is we need to have a way to manage stormwater, but they also wanted open space to have some sort of park-like amenity on the site. And so what the designers and engineers did working with the city is create an amenity for the site, a park that also functions as cleaning stormwater for the entire redevelopment site.
Okay, now on this pond, we have open spaces, is that correct? What's that all about?
Sure. So there's sidewalk that circles the pond, and 5 laps equals a mile. There's also benches and picnic tables and lighting, so park-like amenities.
So
that
you actually
surround
can
it.
walk all the way around the pond, is
Yes,
that
you
correct?
can.
Okay, and then you have, there's benches to sit and look at the water and just contemplate or whatever one does?
Sure. Well, actually, the pond area is planted with wildflowers and prairie grasses. And so it changes throughout the seasons. It's really dynamic. You'll have different things blooming
Really?
at different times, and lots of birds and pollinators, bees and butterflies. So lots of wildlife to watch, and the plants throughout the seasons.
Okay. Who designed this pond? Who designed that?
So the city worked with SRF Consulting Group and their landscape architects and civil engineers to design it.
Were they involved with the planning of the whole shopping center area there? Or just this pond?
I think they did primarily the stormwater pond here, but they may have also been involved with some of the other infrastructure, the new road that went in and things like that.
Do they do this, have they done this elsewhere? I'm sure this wasn't their first pond they've ever done. huh?
Yeah, yep.
Give me the dynamics of it. You know, it's layered and just describe it. We'll have
Sure.
film footage
Yeah.
going while we're talking here, but just describe it to me.
So all of the parking lots and building rooftops, things like that, will drain into catch basins on the site. The rain will then go via pipes to an inlet in the pond, and that's on the east end. So where the stormwater enters the basin, there's kind of a round bowl that helps to slow down the stormwater. And the idea is to get all of the pollutants, all the things that run off of sidewalks and driveways and parking lots that have sediment and different types of pollutants to fall out of the water before it goes on and then eventually into Tanner's Lake and the Mississippi River. So the water enters the top basin. It's divided into 4 different basins by these concrete retaining walls that have decorative patterning on them. So the water will flow down a concrete channel through some bronze spouts, again, to try to slow down that water. And then eventually at the end, if it all fills up, there's an outlet at the end. And then it's planted with species that can tolerate inundation, which is basically being covered by water for a particular length of time. But then the water is meant to drain away, like within 24 or 48 hours.
When you say drain away, does it go into the ground eventually?
It does, yep. It infiltrates into the ground, and the plant's roots will take up some of those nutrients that are in the pollutants in the water and use those for their growth, and then also clean the water as it filters down into the ground.
Okay, now salt, of course, that's always a problem in the wintertime, these salted driveways and the parking lots. What happens to the salt? I mean, I think that's probably the more serious of all the sediment that gets in there, is that correct?
Yeah, so the plants that were chosen by the landscape architect are salt tolerant. And then the idea too is that over time with the different rain events that it'll get sort of diluted and the plants will be able to take up those salts.
Tell me the people who judge this, how did they know about it? Did who sent the application in?
Sure. So the Minnesota chapter of the American Society of Landscape Architects hosts design competitions every year, and the city of Oakdale nominated the pond at Tartan Crossing. All of the entries were judged by the Michigan chapter of the American Society of Landscape Architects, so there was no bias of knowing who did the project or something like that. And they thought that it was a really innovative way to treat stormwater in an artful way that incorporated design and then also became an amenity for the redevelopment area in a highly visible area because it's right off of Hadley Avenue, which is the city's signature
Well, I
street.
drive by and I see the wall, but I don't see much else. I think I'm going to make a point of going and see that.
Yeah, check it out.
So, how much water does it hold? You know, in gallons or however?
That's a good question. I'm not sure exactly what the capacity is, but it's able to drain 13 acres of impervious surface across the entire
That's
site.
a lot.
Yeah.
That's a lot.
Yep.
Huh. So generally, there'd be standing water in it. Is that correct?
So I was down there last week. We had a good rain event, and I stopped by on my way to work, and there was maybe about 6 to 8 inches of water in each of the 4 basins. So it's probably going to be a pretty rare event that it would fill all the way up, but it has that capacity, especially once the Hy-Vee store is developed and the C-store, and then there's a final smaller parcel that's going to be contributing stormwater to that.
You know what? The oil and gasoline that cars drip and all that, when that goes in there, is that going to be, what's going to happen to that?
That won't harm the plants that much. So, and part of it is there are catch basins in parking lots and on streets. And those also have areas to drop out some of like the trash and some other sediments too. So that there's ways to kind of treat the water before it gets to this kind of final treatment stage and then go on down towards the
Now,
lake.
all this sediment, if it does get into the pond and it sits there for a year or something, is that going to be like a foot of muck on the bottom?
Well, eventually it might need to get cleared out, but one of the neat design features of it is there's that concrete basin at the entrance where the water comes in. That can be cleaned out on a regular basis, and the concrete channel that runs through the pond also can capture a lot of that sediment, and that can be scooped out without having to impact the plants.
Okay. Well, very good, Emily. I want to take a trip up there. I think this is just really neat.
Yeah.
So I appreciate you joining us on Oakdale Update. We're out of time right now.
Thanks for having me.
Thank you. We're just about out of time. But before we go, we have another code reminder. Remember to not park within 10 feet of either side of mailboxes, Monday through Saturday, 8 a.m. to 6 p.m., to keep them clear for mail delivery. Also, be sure to visit the city's website or Facebook page to get a wide variety of information. That's all we have time for. For everyone at the City of Oakdale, thanks for watching.